Welcome back to Tradie Business School. My name's Michael. I'm joined by Barry and Miranda. Today is episode 11. We're going to be talking about how to escape being busy and achieving more with less. And in fact, on this episode, we're going to be talking probably about the most important tool that you can use to win back more time to stop being so busy. So huge welcome, Barry, Miranda.
Hello. Can't believe we're here again. It's so exciting. Love these episodes.
Mate, stoked to be here. This tool, when we created it, I don't know how long ago, I think 8 years ago or something, created this tool, has literally been the number one tool that has transformed my relationship with business the most. And the same feedback applies from our clients as well.
It's probably also been the most highly prescribed exercise for every single client that we've worked with, and also been the most life-changing.
Yeah.
Where when we speak to clients and go, what's been the most significant difference in the way that you manage your time and what's giving you back hours upon hours upon hours of time, they'll always say this tool, this very thing was the very reason that I have freedom back in my life and in my business. It's incredible. And I kind of wish that as a business owner that someone gave it to you. You know, like once you see it, you'd be like, why didn't I have this before?
Yeah. And look, we're going to give it to you for free on this episode. It is our most valuable asset. And all I ask is don't take it for granted. Often when we don't pay attention. You know, a mentor once taught me, when you pay attention. When you pay a lot, you pay a lot of attention. But this tool has literally provided me with the ability to have multiple businesses that can work without me and allow me to exit the business in a very succinct way.
Yeah.
It matters so much because we see it time and time again. The issue of time is that, we see it with our clients. I notice it out there in people in so many businesses, more often than not, though, in tradie, trades-based businesses, general contracting-based businesses, that the owners, that they're stuck on the tools. It is long days, wearing many different hats, doing everything in their business. It deprives them of time with their family, their friends, the freedom of choice of lifestyle. It becomes a trade for money. So, the first step in reclaiming that time and that freedom is to know where your time is going. It is so important. Rather than it just being a leak. Imagine, through that sieve, it is just leaking out everywhere. It is going, and it's like slipping through your fingers. It is now about finding out where it's going.
Yeah. I guess one last thing to add before we kind of get in and teach them the tool, there'll also be a downloadable link for the resource wherever you're watching this or listening to this. Unless Spotify, you can find on the tradiebusinessschool.com website under the resource section. The last thing I'll mention is that time is our most scarce resource, not money. Like there is billions of dollars circulating this planet. You've only got 24 hours a day. That's the one thing that makes us all equal, is the amount of time that we do actually have. And I guess, one other thing to add to that is that we always use what's available to us. And so right now, if you notice that time and time again, like you have all the best intentions to rock up at work on Monday morning and do some planning for the week, and before it even gets to 8 o'clock, you've got phone call after phone call, you're running out, putting out spot fires, and that becomes your whole week. You get to Friday, like, shit, I didn't get anything done this week, but I wanted to do it. Because what happened is we always use what's available to us. And so as Miranda mentioned, part of the first part of this tool is to actually take the time to write down where you're spending time. So the tool is called the task audit. And there's 4 sections we're going to speak through. But the very first part of this is to spend some time over the next 2 weeks, have a diary next to you or paper or a spreadsheet if you're on the computer, and list every single activity that you do for the business throughout the day for 2 weeks straight, right? Every activity from, replying to emails, to answering phone calls, to going to the toilet. Write down every single thing that you do for a period of time for 2 weeks. And at the end of the 2-week period, once you've got a list, you'll get a snapshot of what you're investing your time in. And I think that's when the very first epiphany or aha is going to come through. Is you're going to look back and go, holy shit, I spent way too much time in my inbox. I spent way too much time watching Netflix. I spent way too much time talking on my phone.
It's like playing a game of chess, right? When we do an audit, we actually list down the truth. We list down what's actually going on, because you can't develop a strategy. You can't implement anything blind to what's going on. You've got to know exactly what you're working with. And the problem with not recording it is that if I asked you, what did you do 2 weeks ago on Monday? You'd be like, oh, I don't remember. Most of us don't remember a couple of days ago, and you finish the week and it's, Friday afternoon, the week feels like a blur.
Yeah, you took the word right out of my mouth, that sense of a blur. Where did it go? You've been being busy all week, yet you don't feel like you've made any progress. You haven't moved forward, and perhaps you've started the year with great goals, and yet already in the first number of weeks, that time has slipped by.
Yeah. A couple of things too. First, yes, it's going to consume a small amount of extra time right now writing things down, but I'm guaranteeing you, if you do this process, within 2 to 3 weeks, you'll be able to get back at least 5 hours a week. If not, we've had clients that have taken back 15, 20 hours a week within the first month doing this process. So the first part is to write down everything doing over 2 weeks, and then set an appointment for half an hour, whether it be on a Monday or a Friday, every single week. And the advice that I always share with our clients is to do this process every single week until you're operationally free from the business. Now, what I mean is that is not every single week writing down your tasks, but once a week, spend half an hour, review the lists of tasks, add any new ones that have popped up, because the beauty of this is every time you start to get rid of some of those things off your plate, which we're going to go through and teach you how to do that in a moment, you will end up spending that time on new things, maybe new things you're not doing right now. It might be some marketing stuff, it might be some sales stuff. So just add those new things once a week, but also once a week, you'll go through and start to work out what now can I delegate or outsource. So the next part of the process is, once you have these items down, is to go down and write down how much time are you spending on them and what's the frequency. Is this something you do daily? Is it something you do weekly, fortnightly, monthly, annually, once off? And how much time are you spending on it? Because that's going to give you a bit of an indication around when you start to pass this off to a team member, the amount of time they too should be spending on these same sorts of tasks.
That's really, really useful, because particularly on how much time you need of the resource or the person to be able to do that, right? Yeah. And adding all the times that you do that. So you might check email for 5 minutes on a Monday, 10 minutes on a Tuesday, then 2 hours on a Wednesday. Add that all up and go, well, every week I'm spending this much time doing email. This is how much time I'm spending a day, and actually not just the task, but how much time it's eating up.
Yeah. The power is in doing this, what could seem tedious or time-consuming, funnily enough, stuff now. It does it. You'll get in a rhythm. You'll start doing it pretty quickly. It will become quite a good and an easy habit, an easy thing for you to do. It seems very, very simple. Do not let the simplicity, I guess, head you off in the direction of that there's no power in this. This is an extremely powerful tool and a powerful thing to do. And what you're essentially doing in the first couple of steps is data gathering, so that you are in a powerful position to make some decisions around what to do that will ripple through your business, not only for your time, but they will ripple to hiring and outsourcing tasks, all sorts of things. So we'll talk about the next step.
This tool has the power to single-handedly not only regain control of your time, but again, help you to exit your business. It's the tool that I use. It's the tool that I use ongoingly. But again, do it once up front, list everything down for 2 weeks, schedule it for half an hour. And every week it's like, okay, cool, I'm no longer doing this, cross it off. What have I replaced it with? What are those new things that I'm now doing? So we've got a list of things we're doing. We've got an allocation of how long it takes us to do them and the frequency, whether it's daily, fortnightly, etc. We're doing them. Now, the next part is to go through and to categorize them under one of 4 categories under DOCS, D-O-C-S. So D stands for delegate. Now, what this means is next to someone, let's just say, quoting, can you delegate it to someone in the organization? Now, it doesn't mean you can necessarily delegate it today, but is this a particular task or role that you could hire for? Or maybe you already have somebody inside of your organization you can delegate it to. So that's a D. So go through and it's like, can I delegate this? D's all those. The next is O, which stands for outsource. So similar to delegate, this is still something you can pass on to somebody else. But the difference is this is outsourced outside of your operation. This is not a current staff member. So you might say, well, I can outsource my social media marketing. I can outsource my bookkeeping. I can outsource the cleaning of the office. Like, what are the things you can outsource and hire some form of a contractor that's outside of your operation? Remember, we spoke in the early episodes around, above the line and below the line expenses. This way, you're only hiring for those roles, the tasks when you need them. It's not a fixed cost of a new employee. It's just when you need that thing to be done, you can outsource it. The next part is C. C stands for continue. What do I, as the business owner, need to continue doing? Now, that might be, well, I need to continue driving the culture of my organization. I need to continue doing the strategic planning. I might need to continue right now paying the bills because that's what I have to do. Just be wary, though, to fall in the trap of writing C next to a lot of things because you're a control freak and because you think that you have to do it all. Like, you don't. There is very little that I do in any of my companies right now. Very little. Most of my time is spent strategic planning, And thinking outside of that, everything else is done by my team. But just right now, be very crucial, I guess, strategic and thoughtful with what you put a C next to, because that's what you're going to continue doing. That's what you're going to keep doing. And the last one is S, which is stop. Like, what are the things that are just absolutely not moving you closer to having the business, having the life of your dreams? What's not making you money? What's not giving you more time? You might be posting on social media, but notice that you never get any jobs from it. You never get any engagement. Why continue doing it right now? Stop doing it for now until you have more money, resources, or the time to do it properly. So that's S. What do you guys want to, I guess, add to what I've just shared there?
Yeah, the word S often comes up with should. It's all the things we think we should be doing in business. Like everyone else, stop doing the things we think we should be doing, and really get sort of quite objective around it. Like you said, am I actually getting any leads at all from doing all the social media? And there's many other examples like that. So it's a great one to look at. There are so many things I think we fill our days with that we should stop doing, or we could give someone else to do. And the other step as well is really looking at how you think about and what you believe to be true about outsourcing or delegating. Yeah. That often is the inner game, the journey that so many people struggle with the most, is the handing over the reins of control of another job. We'll unpack that further in other episodes, and we've already touched on it in the past. But it's those 4 steps. Do you have anything you wanted to add, Michael?
I just love this tool. I just get so excited because I've seen the transformation that this has. And there's one thing I just want to point out is that just the act of you listing what you do is transformative. Yeah. And let me give you an example about why that is. Years and years ago, I was working with a health coach, and he said, I want you to write down everything you eat, right? And that's the training. All I want you to do, that's the only thing I want you to do, is write down what you eat. And then at the end of the week, you look and you can see, this is what's producing the results. And do you think I wanted to write down Hungry Jack's Whopper?
McDonald's, KFC.
Chocolate, And so knowing that you're going to have to record and write that down helps you in the moment to make a better decision.
Such a good point. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's what I said. The first aha will be of sitting back and looking at the list and going, holy shit, I spend way too much time on the phone. You might already have a feeling, but it's amazing how we get blindsided or we get conditioned to be okay with things, and writing it down causes that. Like, you're okay eating Hungry Jack's and KFC, but then when you have to stop and look at it, you're like, am I really committed to my health right now? Like when I'm eating fast food 5 out of 7 days a week.
And there are many tools that we can share with you later on about how to prioritize and how to know what you should or shouldn't be doing with your time. And I guess one of a simple tool that you can use right now in deciding whether you want to delegate or outsource is maybe have a column that says high value or low value, and trying to understand, like, is that task adding significant value to the company and your goals, or it still needs to be done, but it's not as high value as others. So using that as a technique to decide, should I do it, or could I delegate or outsource that?
Yeah. So there is a couple of steps. We want to keep these episodes to 15, 20 minutes to make them impactful. Like, we want to give you guys practical tools without the boring bits that help you grow your trades business in less than an hour a week. There is a couple of steps past that I wanted to touch on ever so briefly. If you want to go more in depth into the tool to fully implementing it, 2 things I suggest. First and foremost, join the Tradie Business School. It's ridiculously cheap for the huge amount of value and templates and tools and systems and processes, everything that we've already done and tried and tested in hundreds of trades and general contracts businesses around the world. We just give it to you and we walk with you step by step to implement it. So that's first step. Like, click on the link somewhere around here to enroll in that. You won't be sorry. Or a slightly cheaper option would be spend the $30, buy a copy of my book, The Path to Freedom. We go heavily in depth into the task order, how to implement it there. But the last bit I'll kind of touch on is that you want to have a column around, is a system being created when you're going to pass it on? So with the things that you want to delegate and outsource, is a system created for this? Yes or no? And at what point of time do you want to pass this on to somebody else? We teach in my book that systems don't have to be created by you. It's the biggest myth, and something that stopped me systemizing for a long time, is I thought I had to be the one as a business owner to write hundreds of systems before I hired staff. No, you just hire staff and you train them and get them to create the systems. Again, we teach the process in here and we teach the process in the Tradie Business School. But again, just with what we've given you today, you've got a clear understanding of where you're spending your time, where you should be spending your time, and what you can start to look at to delegate and outsource out to existing team members or maybe people outside your organization, So then weekly you can start to make a decision around, well, maybe I need to hire an admin person because they can do my bookkeeping and they can do, chasing out my quotes and chasing out debts and things like that. It starts to educate you around where you should be putting your time and resources rather than just making decisions on the fly, which we know many business owners do, and wondering why they're not growing as profitably or as powerfully and impactfully as what they could. So that's kind of any short remarks before we wrap up. We're close to our 20-minute mark here.
One more from me is once you've mastered this and you actually implemented it, get your team to do it.
Yeah.
So you can understand what they're doing with their time.
Yeah. And the best day to start this is today. You don't need to start this on a Monday or at the beginning of a month. You start today.
Yeah.
Right now. Well, not right now if you're driving. So pull over whenever you're back to the office and start it immediately and reap the benefits.
Yeah. It's the one tool. I very seldom use it anymore. But again, I used it every single week until I exited the Game Changers business. And then I used it for a while. Anytime I got overwhelmed, I would write down everything I was doing. And then it allowed me to refocus around the impactful things, the important things that were actually driving the business and my life towards the outcomes I wanted, rather than me just showing up, putting out fires all day, every day, which I still remember what that was like a few years ago. Like my day was never my day. It was everyone else's day. They told me how I needed to act and look and feel based on the fires that I had to put out every day. So look, I trust it's been hugely impactful. If you want to find out more about the Tradie Business School, please hit us up on tradiebusinessschool.com website. I'd be more than happy to help you and talk you through the program. As I said, it's ridiculously low price. It's the cost of a few coffees a week to get you started in that program. Thank you so much for joining. Make sure that you subscribe to us on YouTube, on Spotify, on anywhere we are on the interwebs to make sure you get up to date with the latest episodes. And I, for one, look forward to seeing the next one. Thank you so much.
See you next time, guys. Bye.
See you guys.